Hi guys, welcome back. Today we're making spicy fried rice. I'm going to be using chicken, but you can use shrimp, steak, whatever protein you want, or you can just not put meat at all. I'm going to season my chicken with some organic ginger powder as well as some garlic salt. You don't need a lot of seasonings, just this, and the flavors all combine and it tastes so good. So this is how I cut my chicken up. I like pretty big chunks, but you can cut it up smaller if you would like to, however you want, but this is how I like mine. So I'm going to use the ginger powder and garlic salt to season the chicken and then let it marinate while I am making the rice for this dish. Okay, so put a bit of ginger powder and then some garlic salt. Okay, once you've added your seasonings, go ahead and massage it in really well. Make sure it's evenly distributed. Don't let it all be clumped up on one piece of chicken. Go ahead and massage it in well. Get every single piece. Okay, so for this dish, you're going to want your rice to be cold. You can refrigerate it for an hour or two, or if you want to, you can pop it in the freezer as soon as you've made it to cool down quicker. I actually, when I'm making it and I'm like pressed for time, or if I'm in a rush and I just don't want to wait, I make it and I spread it out in a thin layer like this, and I find that it actually cools down really quickly. So once your rice is cool and you're going to start, just break your rice up. You are going to need Maggi Rice It Up Chinese fried rice seasoning, or you can use separate powder seasonings and make your own blend. You're going to need sriracha, garlic, finely chopped scallions, and some soy sauce, as well as your rice and chicken, obviously. So I'm going to pop my chicken in the pot in a single layer. You want it to get browned nice and evenly, so you don't want to have your chicken stacked up on top of each other. Okay, so go ahead and put it in. As I said, spread it out so that it can get browned nicely. So it's up to you how long you want to cook your chicken for, and that just depends on how brown you want your chicken to be, how well done you want it. I like mine to have pretty good color on it, to be pretty brown, and I like to char a couple of pieces. I like the texture and I like the taste. So you'll see how long it takes me to get there. So you want to cook it on one side until it reaches this light golden brown color, and then you flip it and let it get to about the same color on the other side. And then from there you can adjust it and cook it for however long you need to get to your desired level of brownness. This is how I like mine. As you can see, it's got a really nice brown color and a couple of pieces are, really well done and have a little char on them. That's how I like mine. But you can cook it for longer, or you can cook it for a shorter amount of time. Okay, so once your chicken is cooked the way that you want it, you go ahead and set it to the side. Try not to get too much of the oil out of your pot. This is the same pot you're going to use to make the rice, and you want to leave the drippings from the chicken in there. It gives it a really good flavor. So this is my chicken. Looks so good, smells so good. So set that to the side and you'll be ready. You can also use shrimp. As I said, this is how I would prepare the shrimp if I were using it. And this is how it should look when it's done, and you just go ahead and chop it up if you'd like to. I use huge shrimp, so I chop mine up, but if you're using smaller shrimp, you can just leave it whole. So now we're going to go ahead and put in our Maggi Rice It Up Chinese fried rice seasoning. If you don't have this, or if you just want to use your own blend, you can go ahead and put in your own powdered seasonings or fresh seasonings, but this is what I like to use. It tastes really good. Okay, so I'm going to mix this into the oil really well, get rid of any clumps. I like putting it directly into the oil and not in the rice because I feel like it mixes in better and all of it is not like clumped up into one area of my rice. So mix this in really well, or mix in any powdered seasonings that you're using really well so that it will mix into your rice evenly. Okay, so I'm going to toss a bit of black pepper in here. Not a lot, just a little sprinkle. And you're going to mix that in as well so that it's evenly distributed. I'm now going to toss in most of my chopped up scallion. Leave a little bit behind to garnish your dish when you're done, but most of it does go in here. And you're going to just saute that for a little bit, let it sweat to release the flavor. Now put in your garlic. You can use a big piece and then take it out, or you can do what I'm doing, which is using chopped garlic and just saute all of that, let it get a little bit brown. Okay, don't let it burn, just let it saute for a little bit and then you'll be ready to add your rice. Okay, so I'm going to add my rice in slowly, making sure that I break up any clumps. Okay, once you've added all of your rice in, go ahead and mix this up. Make sure that you get the seasoning mixed in well, and you'll be able to tell by the color of the rice. The goal when you're done here is to not see any white rice. I have my fire up high. I've got my flame up high. So you don't want to let it sit for too long at any point because you don't want it to burn. So keep on stirring. And if you notice that your scallions are getting, or your garlic are getting too dark, you can turn your flame down a little bit. But I keep mine up high and I just move quickly. Okay, so make sure you break the rice up, get any clumps that you missed before, and mix everything in well. Okay, once you've mixed in the Maggi Rice It Up or your own powdered or fresh seasonings that you're using for your fried rice, the next thing that you're going to want to do is add some soy sauce. Once you've added your soy sauce, go ahead and mix that in well as well. Okay, so just mix it up. As I said, you don't want to see any white grains of rice when you are done because that means you didn't mix it in well. A little tip I've learned, I mean, sometimes I'm just using rice that I had in the refrigerator, but if you are making rice specifically for this dish, then you want to make it with a 1-to-1 ratio. And what I mean by that is use 1 cup of rice, 1 cup of water, so that the rice is a little bit more shelly, as Jamaicans would say. I added a little bit more ginger powder there, as you can see, and I'm mixing that in. Okay, so yeah, guys, the rice, you don't want it to be too soft, so if you're cooking it specifically for this dish, then just use a 1-to-1 ratio instead of doubling the water. Like instead of using 1 cup of rice, 2 cups of water, just do a 1-to-1 ratio. And it'll be perfect once you're done cooking it. Okay, so now the fun part. This is what really turns this dish up and makes it unique. I'm adding my sriracha sauce in here, and this tastes so good. Okay, so mix this in well. You can put more or less to make it spicier. Okay, so mix that in. The sriracha with the garlic and the scallions and the ginger, it's just an amazing flavor. I love this dish, and it's so quick and easy to cook. Whenever I have a little rice left over and I'm like, I don't know what I want for dinner, I just look in the fridge and I'm like, oh, I have leftover rice and I know what I'm making. I'm making some spicy rice. And I love it because you can eat this with anything. Like I've had this with stewed chicken. You can make some shrimp really quickly and pop that in there. Or you can use chicken breast like I did here. It's just so easy to make. Okay guys, so you are honestly just about done now. What you're going to do is just make sure that you are cooking it all the way through. If you use that 1-to-1 ratio, make sure that your rice is tender before you take it off. You're going to pop your chicken, your shrimp, your steak, whatever you're using in there. Mix that in and make sure, as I said, I cannot stress this enough, make sure you're not seeing any white grains when you're done. All right, it might take a while for you to mix it in well. And you can turn your flame off if you see that your rice is getting a little bit too soft or whatever, and you can continue to mix it up until the seasonings and the sriracha is are distributed well. Okay, so just break up any clumps, make sure you're not seeing any white grains, and put your protein in and mix this up. It's easy, guys, no stress. Okay, and that's it really. You're gonna just mix it up and then you're ready to serve it. Okay, so this is the finished product. Looks so good. It was so yummy with this chicken breast, and I just garnished with the rest of the finely chopped scallion that I used. Let me know if you guys are going to try this recipe, and let me know if you choose to use chicken or shrimp or something else that I didn't even mention here. This is how it looks if you use shrimp. I love this to eat by itself or with a meal. I prefer eating the one that I make with shrimp by itself for some reason. I don't know why, but this is just one of my favorite dishes, and it is so easy to make. If you're feeling really adventurous, you can do surf and turf. You can use chicken and shrimp like I did here. It's up to you guys. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, comment, share, like the video, and we'll see you again next time. Thanks, guys.